Up and Adam, everyone, and thank you for joining us right here on Wake Up Worcester. Coming up in this half hour, Worcester author Jack O'Connell will be joining us talking about his new book that is now in paperback, The Resurrectionist, and he's going to be signing copies at the local Barnes & Noble. We'll tell you all about that coming up. Also, Professor David Schaefer from the College of the Holy Cross will be with us, and he'll be analyzing the upcoming senatorial race for us, this special election for Senator Ted Kennedy's seat, the Kennedy seat, as some have called it. But right now, and actually, I'm going to be asking our two first guests about that as well. Senator Harriett Chandler, Senator Michael Moore with us, and thank you both for stopping by again this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Appreciate it. Why don't we jump in right there, because that is something that we're going to be talking about with Professor Schaefer in a few minutes. The Kennedy seat, as it has been called. Some people are saying that they hope that his wife runs and fills that seat. Other people, were disappointed when Joe Kennedy said it. That's part of this Kennedy seat part of it. Others are saying, Senator Chandler, that it isn't really, of course, the Kennedy seat. It's simply that he held it for 47 years.
Well, I think there are two things that are getting mixed up here. One is that there is a special election scheduled for January the 19th. That is for the seat. And that's where, these candidates are filing for their papers now, their nomination papers. And the second thing is that there is the question of what do we do in the interim. And that's, at the moment, the issue at heart for the legislature.
And that's what you were.
And that's what we're
Senate
really.
And the House was talking about last week.
Yes.
And, Senator Moore, in regards to that, how do you feel? I mean, does Massachusetts need two voices? Do we need somebody to fill that seat?
I think we should have two voices in Washington. 5 years ago when the law was changed, I thought it was a mistake at that point. Even though I think we should have two voices down there right now, I am not of the opinion that we should be changing the law in the middle of the process. If this had been done maybe a year ago, I might be more amenable to making the change. But right now, it's going to be deemed as pure politics. I think the legislature has done a lot this year with the major reforms we've done, the ethics reform in general, rather in specific, that we try to increase the integrity of the legislature. And I think this will just bring us back a couple of steps by making this a pure political vote.
Senator Chandler, your thoughts?
I'm not in agreement with my colleague, although I respect his opinion. I believe that we should have two votes in there, and I don't believe that this is going to interfere with the integrity of the legislature in doing this, because that runoff election is going to occur on the 19th of January, no matter what. What we're saying at this point is that there should be, some of us are saying at this point is there should be somebody who is watching the state's business for the next 5 months. And we're saying that it should be, the person should not have any decision, any feeling about running for the office himself or herself. It should be just as an interim caretaker, if you will.
5 years ago, why did you? Because I'm going to assume that you voted right for there to be the change. What has changed other than the fact that we now have a Democrat in the corner office instead of a Republican?
Well, it's interesting because the same people who wanted it 5 years ago, the Republicans, are against it now because there's a Democrat in. So, I'm not going to deny that it's a
Although
political
we had
vote.
Representative Paul Frost sitting here last week, and his argument was exactly the same as your Senator Moore. He said a couple of years ago the Republicans would have been happy to change back, that he would be happy after January to see it, that he agrees that we should have, in a case like this, the governor be able to appoint someone. He just feels that the process has already begun. Has the process begun?
Yeah, yes, I mean, the date, December 9th, is going to be the primary. Candidates are coming out, they're filing. It's going to be a 3-month process.
4-month process.
A 4-month process. If we want to look at changing the law after the election is held for the next circumstance that should come down the road, that's fine in my opinion. I just think perception in politics is reality, and I think people are going to look at this move as being done for the wrong reasons.
I would feel that with this vote, we have health care reform to deal with. We probably have another stimulus to talk about. We have lots of other important matters in Congress to be done in the next few months. And I think that I would like to see another vote that we're entitled to in the Senate. That person, as I said before, should not be able to run for this office on a permanent basis. I would like to see it be whoever is whatever the party of the person who is no longer there, the vacancy is to be filled, I think it should be of the same party as the person whose vacancy, so it shouldn't matter whether it's a Republican governor or a Democratic governor. What should matter was the will of the people was X.
Senator Chandler, the last time that you were on, with Senator Moore then as well, you said that in the fall, the legislature would most likely be focusing on gambling, and most likely on casino gambling, and would we be bringing casinos to Massachusetts? Is that what the legislature is going to be focusing on this fall?
It looks that way. It looks, you know, we've had, if I can for a moment just say that we've had a mixed bag in July and August in terms of our revenues. And July, the revenues did not hit the benchmark for July. In August, they were a little over what they were expected to be for August. The critical month is going to be September, the first quarter, the end of the first quarter. And it's a big month for revenue collection. So one of the things we're going to be looking at is where do we find more revenues in this bad economy? And that the idea of doing something with gambling has been on the books and has been discussed for a long time. And I think that, you know, we have not in the Senate had a full discussion of it. So the House has already had a discussion, but the Senate hasn't. So I don't know where my colleagues stand on this issue.
Senator Moore, what do you think is going to be discussed this fall? Because, I mean, we keep hearing about different proposals. There's the governor proposal that would be, I mean, you know, if you're not going to spend $1 billion to build a casino that has the golf course that is really going to bring people to the state, don't bother coming forward. Other people would maybe like to see something scaled down. Others would like to see, sure, we'd love to have a casino as long as it's not in our backyard, and others would say 3 is too many.
Well, I think all those options that you discussed are going to be discussed. We've got people who want slot machines only. We've got individuals who want the 3 resort casinos. I think 3 casinos are too much to do at once. If we're going to go down this road, let's work on 1 casino resort, get it done properly. The last thing I want to happen in Massachusetts is to have 3 resort casinos put up, have it not done correctly, and then we're suffering the ramifications of 3.
Certainly, big story in the Globe on Sunday about the trouble that Foxwoods is having in this economy. But you would support maybe 1 resort casino
depending on the specifics of how that is going to be implemented. That's a major concern that I have.
My mind is still not made up. I'm really conflicted about this. I'm conflicted because I think that slots only bothers me, although that's where you get the immediate impact of some money coming in. But that doesn't build anything to the economy. It doesn't provide jobs. It just does some good for the person who owns wherever the slots are. The idea of having a full-blown casino has some positive and some negatives attached to it. The idea of having it in Worcester, frankly, bothers me terribly because we've seen what happens where there are casinos. It drains off restaurants, it drains off hotels, stores. It all goes inside that casino. So I'm concerned about that. I'm interested in hearing what the alternatives are, what the options are here.
Go ahead.
I'm going to speak on that. I actually met with one group this past week that has been opposed to casinos, but in further discussions with them, it's really not the casino aspect that they're opposed to. It's the slot machines. From the research that they've performed, the gambling problems deal with more of the slots. That psychologically, that's where the problem comes with the habitual gamblers. So, which to me, I did not realize that. So they weren't as opposed to casinos as long as the slot machines weren't part of it. So,
see, one of the things that concerns me is the fact that I would have said a couple of years ago, well, it's a revenue stream, and we need a revenue stream. But I look at Foxwoods, I look at Twin Rivers, which is just slots, and they're all doing badly or in bankruptcy. I'm looking at the states that have these gambling efforts, and they're not doing so well either. They're not doing much better than we are without our gambling. So, to me, it's going to have to be a pretty good argument.
And you also have to look at, is there going to be a gaming commission set up, what the regulations are that's going to be surrounding the whole implementation if this were to go through. So it's not just looking at the casinos and a windfall of money. We've got to look at all aspects of it.
Senator Moore, Senator Chandler, we're going to have you back next month.